नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, entitled The Pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, text number 12. Dagdva Atmakritya Hatakrityam Ahan Kabandham Dyagdvatmakritya Hatakrityam Ahan Kabandham Dagdvatmakritya Hatakrityam Ahan Kabandham Sakyam Vidhaya Kapibihi Dayita Gatim Taihi Sakyam Vidhaya Kapibir Dayita Gatim Taihi Budvatha Valini Hate Plavaga Indra Sainyaihi Budvata Valini Hate Plavagendra Sainyair Velam Agat Saha Manujaha Aja Bhava Archita Angrihi Velam Agat Samanujoja Bhavarchita Angrihi Dagdvatmakritya Hatakritya Mahan Kabandham Sakyam Vidhaya Kapibirdayita Gatim Taihi Budvata Valini Hate Plavagendra Sainyair Velam Agat Samanujoja Bhavarchita Angrihi Dagdvatmakritya Hatakritya Mahan Kabandham Sakyam Vidhaya Kapibirdayita Gatim Taihi Budvata Valini Hate Plavagendra Sainyair Velam Agat Samanujoja Bhavarchita Angrihi Dagdva by burning, Atmakritya Hatakrityam. After performing religious rituals required after the death of Jatayu, who died for the Lord's cause, Ahan killed Kabandham, the demon Kabandha, Sakyam, friendship, Vidhaya, after creating Kapibihi, with the monkey chiefs, Dayitagatim, the arrangement for delivering Sita, Taihi, by them, Budva, knowing, Atha, thereafter, Valinihate, when Vali had been killed, Plavaga Indra Sainyahi, with the help of the soldiers of the monkeys, Velam, to the beach of the ocean. Agat went. Saha, he, Lord Ramachandra. Manujaha, appearing as a human being. Aja, by Lord Brahma. Bhava, and by Lord Shiva. Archita Angrihi, whose lotus feet are worshipped. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhajajarana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravana. The Lord then killed the demon named Kabandha, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, killing Vali, and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to the beach of the ocean. Kindly repeat the translation. Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravana. The Lord then killed the demon named Kabandha, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, killing Vali, and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to the beach of the ocean. Purport. When Ravana kidnapped Sita, he was obstructed on the way by Jatayu, a large bird. But the powerful Ravana defeated Jatayu in the fight and cut his wing. When Ramachandra was searching for Sita, he found Jatayu almost dead and was informed that Sita had been carried off by Ravana. When Jatayu died, Lord Ramachandra did the duty of a son by performing the funeral ceremony, and then he made friends with the monkeys to deliver Sita Devi. Thus ends the Bhaktivinoda purport and translations. Translation of Canto 9, Chapter 10, Text number 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Balaram Gonitai ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the description about Lord Ramachandra's pastimes are continuing in these verses spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Maharaja Parikshit. So here Shukadeva Goswami informs Maharaja Parikshit about the personality of Lord Ramachandra, who was so glorious that his lotus feet is worshipped even by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as is described in the later canto of Bhagavatam, Shiva Virinchi Nutam. The lotus feet of Vishnu is actually worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So he is a transcendental personality, but he has assumed the form of a human being to perform his earthly pastimes. Although he has assumed the form of a human being, it resembles the Lord's form resembles the form of a human being, but actually it is transcendental. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that he appears in his self-same form. So they are not affected by material gunas, material influences, nor the Lord's form is affected by karma, as most people think. In fact, from Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, some of the misinterpretations is that, one of the misinterpretations is that they think that even Lord Rama had to undergo the karmas, his karmas. Actually, Lord Rama or Lord Krishna or any Vishnu incarnation, and also the Lord's pure representative, the pure devotee of the Lord, when they descend to this world, they don't have to undergo any karma, because they don't have any karma. If karma is there, you have to close the loop. They don't have karma only. So where the question of they undergoing the reactions of karma, they're always transcendental. Shuddham apapa viddham. Ishopanishad describes the position of Lord Vishnu as Shuddham apapa viddham. It's completely pure and no sin touches him. He's always pure and eternally pure. Does not become contaminated. So when the Lord assumes a form resembling that of a human being, it is his kindness to perform his earthly pastimes and create history so that we can remember, do smaranam and kirtanam and shravanam. Shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam, all these three things. To facilitate these three aspects of devotional service, the Lord has come to this world to perform his earthly pastimes. But not to mistake him as an ordinary human being or an ordinary kshatriya. Or Prabhupada gave the common example many times. Just like there is the Prime Minister of the country. He is an Indian of our country. He is an Indian. And we are also Indians. Both are Indians. But still, he is the leader. And we are the praja, the citizens, following his order. So like that, the Lord is always the leader, and we are the followers of the Lord, and they are not same in all respects. The similarity is just like between the Prime Minister and the citizen is both are Indians, but still there is a gulf of difference. Similarly, we are one in quality with the Lord, that we are also spiritual, the Lord is spiritual, but still the Lord is always the master of all the jivas. And although we are spiritual, we are Anu. The Lord is Vibhu. And because we are Anu, there is a possibility of we being influenced by the material energy of the Lord. And because the Lord is Vibhu, there is no possibility of the Lord being influenced by Maya Shakti or the material energy. The Lord is always the master of the material energy, and we are always subordinate energy. So that is why we are described as Tatashta Shakti of the Lord, marginal energy of the Lord. So although we are also spiritual by nature, It is in our free will. It is at the disposal of our free will whether we want to keep ourselves under the shelter of spiritual energy or come under the influence of material energy. Because we are tiny, this possibility always exists. So therefore, Prabhupada gave one more example in this regard of the big fire and a spark from that fire. The spark also is fire, but its potency is very less. So it can be put off due to many reasons. There are many possibilities of the spark being put off. The big fire to put off is difficult. So the big fire is like Krishna, and we are like this spark. So sometimes we come under Maya's influence. So therefore, we should not mistake the Lord to be a human being like us. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashtitam param bhavam ajananto mamavayam anuttamam. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself tells that unintelligent or less intelligent persons, avajananti mam mudha, those who are less intelligent, they think that I assume a human form when I come to this world. So when Shukadeva Goswami is saying here, he assumed a human form, it means a Panchabhuta form. The Lord does not accept a Panchabhuta form. He is always transcendental. So his form is not limited by the normal form of a human being of this world. Now coming to the next part of the translation, he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, Lord Ramachandra, out of his kindness, performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu when he was killed by Ravana. And Prabhupada says in the purport very nicely, when Jatayu died, Lord Ramachandra did the duty of a son by performing the funeral ceremony. So you can just imagine how this wonderful transcendental relationship between the Lord and his devotee. Just like a son performed the Shraddha ceremony for the departed father, Lord Ramachandra took up that duty as the son of Jatayu to perform the funeral ceremony of Jatayu. He's so fortunate. And then the Lord made friends with the monkey chiefs like Sugriva, etc. And then he killed Vali and arranged for the deliverance of Mother Sita. And after making all these arrangements, he went to the beach of the ocean. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains about Jatayu episode very briefly, very briefly. So when Mother Sita was being kidnapped by the Rakshasa demon Ravana, Ravana is being described as the worst of the Rakshasas. And when he kidnapped Mother Sita and was taking her away towards Lanka, that time Jatayu, Mother Sita, spotted one large bird. And then she started pleading to that bird. That bird is actually Jatayu. So please help me, please save me. Jatayu was quite old. And the moment he understood it was Mother Sita, he became very upset. And then he flew up in the sky and came to obstruct Ravana from his march of kidnapping Mother Sita towards Lanka. But he didn't know where he was taking Mother Sita. He gave his full might, although he was quite old, in fighting Ravana to save Mother Sita. And he said very bravely, like a hero, that I will not allow you to take Mother Sita with you because she belongs to Lord Rama. And you will never leave this place. So I challenge you for a fight, and then So long I live, I am living, you will not be able to take Mother Sita. That is the kind of determination Jatayu had put in. Of course, we know from this pastime, finally Jatayu passed away. But till the last breath, he never gave up. So this is an important uh, uh, lesson from Jatayu's episode, how we should be very determined till the end of our Krishna conscious life. But till the end of our life, never give up. The same thing we see even in Gajendra's story also, Prabhupada explains. When Gajendra was struggling thousands of years, 1000 years of the heavenly years calculation, the fighting went on between Gajendra and the crocodile. But he never gave up. And depending on the Lord, he continued fighting. And finally, he was rewarded by being protected by Lord Vishnu. So there are many examples like this in Srimad Bhagavatam about the kind of determination which the devotees had shown in practicing devotional service. In this material world, we require to be very determined and very focused. Otherwise, the material energy is too powerful to distract us and divert us from our spiritual activities, from our devotional life. So we have to be extremely determined. And to increase the determination, we require to practice brahmacharya. Just like sometimes in Ayurveda, they give a tonic for increasing your metabolism and for increasing your digestive power, isn't it? So what is the tonic to increase the brahmacharya? Which in turn will lead to increment in determination in devotional service. I'm sorry, the tonic for increasing determination, that is actually brahmacharya. So when we practice brahmacharya sincerely and strictly, the power of determination is increased. So brahmacharya can be practiced by anyone. By a brahmachari, by even a grahastha. Grahastha also can practice brahmacharya. So anyone can practice brahmacharya. So brahmacharya means to control the tendency for sense gratification. Primarily, to control the tendency for material enjoyment. To not let our senses go loose. In the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna talks about this in the 2nd chapter. That when, just like this tortoise, he gives the example of a tortoise. When the tortoise senses danger, it will withdraw its limbs within its shell. So similarly, we should not let our senses loose. They should always be on guard. When we sense some danger for our senses, we should withdraw it. That means preserve it in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, we use all our senses because we are Vaishnavas, we are personalists, not impersonalists. Impersonalist philosophy is neti, 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 neti marga. Give up, give up, give up. Don't engage the senses in their natural activities or proclivities. Don't engage the senses. Withdraw the senses from all their active participation. That is the impersonalist view. But the personalist view is, no, you engage the senses in devotional activities. But there is a risk. In the course of engaging the senses in devotional activities, we may be trapped. Because it is more or less doubtailing in our conditional stage. For a Paramahamsa, there is nothing like doubtailing. But for us, there is something called as doubtailing. Because we have our senses, our proclivities, our inclinations, our past vasanas, gunas, karmas. So we try to engage them in Krishna's seva and purify ourselves. So in the course of engaging our past vasanas and our gunas in the seva of Krishna, we may fall trapped to them. We may slip away from devotional service, and it may become a material activity. Therefore, when we sense danger in engaging our senses externally, better do what is called as self-preservation. That means better do little more sadhana nicely. Just like we go for uh, uh, preaching, we meet a lot of people who are not in Krishna consciousness, and we use our gunas in serving the Lord. But when we sense that it is not, I'm feeling some sense of no, risk, then better we take guidance and chant more rounds, read little more additionally, and strengthen ourselves, our Krishna consciousness. So withdraw ourselves from the sense objects. When we see a sense object, we try to avoid. But only avoiding will not help. There should be a parallel Krishna conscious engagement, Krishna conscious diversion. Krishna conscious diversion. Krishna conscious distraction also is allowed. So sometimes when I was an assistant teacher in Bangalore, remember, of course, in a lighter note, but it's useful. At least sometimes we can apply this. When too much Maya is disturbing, so then you put one piece of kaja in your mouth. Meaning to say, at least the spirit you can take that whichever form of devotional service is appealing to you, take shelter of that quickly. Suppose you like Kirtana, shift to Kirtana immediately. Switch on Prabhupada's Kirtana or some Krishna Gaudiya Vaishnava, which Prabhupada has recommended, those Kirtanas you can switch on. Or if you're impressed by the Bhagavatam or the Gita or Prabhupada's lectures, switch on the lecture and hear them and get the dose of Krishna, strong Krishna consciousness. Just like, sometimes when this BP goes low, then you have to do something, right? Sometimes sugar level goes low, you have to do something, inject something in yourself. So like that, when our Krishna consciousness goes low, then whichever is inspiring to us, you should immediately catch on to that. Could be Sankirtana, could be the form of the Lord, could be prasadam, anything. Grab anything, everything which is available. Or shelter. Just like when when there is danger, you try to run for protection. Anything, everything you get, you try to capture it, right? Like that, anything within the field of Krishna consciousness is allowed. So, but never give up the fight. Krishna will Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. If you don't give up, then you are successful in devotional service. Even if you are a failure, that failure is not a failure from the Krishna conscious perspective and calculation. That is why material mathematics is different, spiritual mathematics is different. We should know. Because many times, failure will deter or at least discourage the devotee. So we should not be discouraged in Krishna consciousness. Failure need not discourage us in Krishna consciousness because actually there is no failure in Krishna consciousness. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Sankirtanam is always victorious. As Krishna is victorious, Krishna Sankirtanam is victorious. Devotional service is ever victorious. So therefore, it's only a stepping stone. We are putting different steps towards perfection. We may be in different points of levels of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, we don't have to take it as a discouragement. So we can, just like a child falls down while walking, but the child can get up. There is nothing like eternal failure. There is nothing like eternal failure. So get up and again, put the steps again. And Krishna will always help. But never give up. Like Prabhupada said, suppose you have boarded a train, don't get down from the train. Similarly, we have boarded the train of Krishna consciousness by chanting, taking prasadam, and all these things. So don't give up. Don't get down from the train till your destination is reached. Similarly, Don't give up Krishna consciousness till we achieve perfection in Krishna consciousness. Somehow pull on. In the purport, Prabhupada says further, the translation, Shukadeva Goswami says, the Lord killed the demon Kabanda, he made friends with the monkey chiefs, killed Vali, and arranged for deliverance of Mother Sita. So this is, you can see how the Lord is always conscious of his duty. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam. The Lord's primary concern is to protect the devotees. And his secondary activity is killing the demons. Vinashaya chadushkritam. And both of them are done to dharma samsthapana arthaya. Arthaya, for the purpose of dharma samsthapana, to establish dharma. So that we can see in every avatara, the Lord fulfills these three purposes. He is killing the demon Kabanda, he killed Ravana, killed Vali, so many demons. Then, that is the Vinashaya Chadushkritam. Then, Paritranaya Sadhunam, he is making friends with monkey chiefs like Sugriva to protect Sugriva. So, Paritranaya Sadhunam. And Dharma Samstapana Arthaya, to protect Mother Sita, or to protect and preserve devotional service. Mother Sita is internal potency of the Lord. That means she represents devotional service to the Lord. So to protect devotional service from the hands of Ravana, the demon, or to protect devotional service from atheists, from anarthas, from so many things. So some learnings from this instruction and pastime of Ramachandra is, so Lord Ramachandra made friends with the monkey chiefs. Now how do we draw a parallel in our life? Similarly, we should also make friends with devotees of the Lord. See, Lord Rama didn't make friendship with Vali, but he made friendship with his brother Sugriva. That means there's a distinction made even by Lord Rama. He made friends with Sugriva. He even accepted Angada, who was a son of Vali. Vali was very unhappy when he was killed by Lord Rama. Then he was concerned about his son Angada. Lord Rama accepted Angada into his association. Therefore, nobody is barred from the Lord's association. Coming back to this point, making friends. So we should make friends with devotees of the Lord. Prabhupada says, Swajatiya. He used the word Swajatiya. Birds of the same feather flock together. Correct? So we should make friends only with devotees. Indiscriminately, we should not associate with everyone and make friends with everyone. That will disturb our devotional consciousness, our devotional life. Now, these are all directions and instructions for sadhakas like us, not for Paramahamsa. But for us, it is important to follow all these principles if you want a smooth ride in Krishna consciousness. Just like if the road is nice, you got a very good car, your ride will be smooth. But if the road is filled with potholes, the car is also not, to the standard, a lot of ups and downs. So, just a crude example. Like that, that's why, if you see in the Google map also, it shows you the good road and traffic less road. So you can have a smooth ride, good experience. Still you can reach the destination, but a lot of, difficulty. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, at least for sadhakas, if there is a favorable medium and atmosphere, we should choose that. Then the mode where you should always be on a fighting mode. No, we should not do that. If there's a possibility of choosing favorable, creating a favorable atmosphere, choosing a favorable route, we should choose that in Krishna consciousness. And one of the very, very important favorable route is choosing our association. So therefore, it is described, make friends with devotees. Now, what do you mean friendship with devotees? That also has to be understood. Associate with devotees. Who are devotees, first of all? Then what is that association? What kind of association? All these things also we should know. So in the Upadesha Amrita, Rupa Goswami describes these things. Maharaja Nimi asks Havir Yogendra in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto about different kinds of devotees. How do you discriminate or distinguish advanced devotees from intermediate devotees from neophyte devotees? Kindly describe their symptoms. So Maharaja Nimi requests one of the Yogendras, Nava Yogendras, who are sons of Rishabdeva. So he requests one of the Yogendra by name Havir. So Havir Yogendra, he describes, we have heard this many times earlier, in describing the Madhyamadikari, I am talking specific to today's discussion, he describes about Madhyamadikari, how we should be careful in choosing association. Ishvare tad adineshu, balisheshu dvishatsucha, prema maitri kripopeksha, yakkaroti sa madhyamaha. Intermediate devotee. That means his devotional service is somewhere intermediate. He is neither a neophyte nor an advanced devotee. His devotional service is more or less on an intermediate platform. So he says, if you want to advance in Krishna consciousness from the neophyte stage to the Paramahamsa stage, you have to go to the intermediate stage of Madhyama level. Now, to come to the Madhyama level, you have to observe four things. Recognize four things. Ishvara, Tat Adina, Balisha, then Dvishatsu. Four kinds of people you should recognize. Prabhupada also says a preacher should categorize different kinds of people in four sections. Recognize four sections of people. One is the Supreme Lord, Ishvara, Tad Adhina, the Lord's devotee or the Lord's servant. So you should recognize the Lord's presence, should recognize the Lord's devotees. Then Balisha. Balisha means innocent people, simple people. Then Dvishatsu, the envious. So we must discriminate and observe, recognize these four sections of people when we move out, when we are present in this world and executing our devotional services in this world. And how do we deal with these four kinds of persons whom we come across? Havir Yogendra says, Prema, Tad Ishvara, to the Supreme Lord. How do you relate with him? Prema. Should develop love towards Lord. It not come overnight. So it's a cultivation. Should develop. It's a cultivation. You should put conscious effort to love the Lord. So that we're not discussing much now. So should develop a feeling of love towards the Lord. Then Tad Adina, the Lord's devotees, how do you relate? Maitri. Maitri should develop friendship with the devotees of the Lord. Sometimes we fight with the devotees of the Lord, so we should not fight. That fighting also is there, where we will see where to categorize that fighting. See, fighting spirit is there, you cannot avoid, but where to place that fighting spirit. So Havir Yogendra says, with the devotees, make friendship. But again, as I said, we don't have time to go to the details now. What is that friendship? It is not a material kind of friendship. It is spiritual friendship. It is transcendental relationship of friendliness. What is that? We can discuss another occasion. But for the time being, so develop friendship with the devotees of the Lord. Devotees means, what do you mean by devotee? In essence, I am interested in Krishna consciousness in my life. If the other person also is interested in Krishna consciousness and that is his goal, then we are swajatiya. Make friends with him. So otherwise, in simple words, if you want to say, Prabhu, should I make friendship with him or not? So how do you judge? Simplest way is your likes and his likes must match. You are interested in devotional service, chanting, reading, prasadam. If he is also interested, make friendship with him. That is desirable. So, prema maitri, kripa. Then, with those who are innocent, simple-minded people, not envious exactly, innocent people. So, kripa, show mercy. That means give them Krishna consciousness. Then those who are envious, dvishatsu, envious of God, envious of Vaishnavas, envious of the Krishna consciousness movement. Sometimes there are people who are envious of ISKCON, envious of devotees, envious of Prabhupada, envious of Krishna. So we avoid them. Upeksha. Don't take association, don't move with them. If we don't guard ourselves with these kind of guidelines and with some kind of material sentiment that anyway it's okay, they're nice people, what is the problem, let us give them mercy. In the course of giving mercy, you should not you should not fall to the trap of envy of Vaishnavas, because it's a vibration, it's a consciousness. If you get their consciousness and you start envying Vaishnavas, start envying the movement and Prabhupada, that's the big risk is there. So we avoid. As much possible, we should avoid. Unless there's a specific reason from the authorities, okay, you can carefully deal the situation, then it's fine. But otherwise, better not. Stay away. Let us do self-preservation, protect our devotional service than trying to protect others' devotional service. Many times we are more concerned about protecting others' devotional service. So in the course, we may lose our devotional service. So let us protect our devotional service. So these are the guidelines. Therefore, Rupa Goswami also said further, Rupa Goswami therefore adds on, Anukulyasa Sankalpaha. This is an important principle, especially for us. The first principle of surrenderance in devotional service, Sharanagati, is Anukulyasa. As I described earlier, we should choose favorable situations, persons, things, circumstances to execute devotional service. Not always be in the fighting mode and always take the rough path of devotional service. Of course, if it comes on our way, we cannot avoid. But we should not create difficulties in devotional service. Therefore, Anukulya Saha. What is Anukulya? Whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness, for executing my devotional service, what is favorable for devotee association, favorable for reading Bhagavatam, for doing seva to Krishna, accept that. Therefore, we should choose consciously. If it comes automatically by Krishna's Guru's Kripa, fine. Otherwise, we should make a conscious choice. And we should create favorable situations. Prabhupada has done for us, he has given guidelines. At least in ISKCON, all these things are already set in motion. As far as devotees who are staying outside are concerned, we should create this favorable situation. And parallelly reject unfavorable situations, persons, circumstances while performing devotional service. Then as far as killing the demon, Vali and Kabanda are concerned, so similarly, a parallel in our life is we should also be strong in avoiding unfavorable circumstances, avoiding atheistic influences, non-Krishna conscious influences, etc. Just like the killing of the demon Kabanda, Vali, etc. Similarly, there are things which kill our devotional life or disturb our devotional life. What are they? Anarthas, offenses, sinful activities. So these things kill, or of course, devotional service cannot be completely destroyed once begun, but it can disturb greatly our Bhakti Lata, creeper. So we should try to avoid. So anarthas, offenses, sinful life, and undesirable association. These are the enemies in our Krishna conscious life. We try to avoid as much possible. And we should not show mercy there. Sometimes we wrongly apply mercy. Papa, like that we say. There is no papa to all these kind of, anarthas, offenses, sinful activities, and undesirable association. There is no papa there. There is no, what you call, sympathy to be shown there. Sympathy should be applied properly in Krishna consciousness. So I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.